Dear Steve, pardon the informality. I come from a tiny out-of-the-way place in northeast BC where we pretty much all went by first names. Calling someone Right Honourable just because of their job seems like putting the cart before the horse. So, you finally have your majority in Parliament, except, as usual in Canada, it's actually a minority. The 39.6% who backed you celebrated a victory, but the other 60+% have an election hangover, a sick, numb feeling with little hope of relief for years to come. You may not know how folks are feeling since your staff tosses anyone who might not back you, so I'm writing to give you the heads up. People aren't just angry, disappointed, or dejected, they're truly scared. I've never seen such fear in what a Prime Minister might do, fear of what a Prime Minister might do to our country. People need reasons to trust you. They need to see you're doing what's right and honourable, rising above partisan ideological views and governing with honest respect and allowance for the real majority of Canadians who voted for a vision of Canada different from yours. Hearing that you don't buy the story that your win is a vote of confidence, a solid mandate for you and your policies, should ease their minds. It might even quiet the online comment trolls who yap about whiny lefty losers instead of discussing issues. The real story is that our electoral system has failed us yet again and must be reformed. Vote splitting has left majorities in riding after riding without a representative. Most Canadians voted centre-left, and a right-wing party controls Parliament. Anyone who's pleased with this just has to imagine the shoe on the other foot to know that it stinks either way. Of the 85 free democracies in the world, we're one of the last 4 still using first past the post. This is not the kind of democracy that people are dying for in other lands. Given your long-standing goal to replace the first past the post system, you must be pleased with how upset people are with the election results, that within days there were national rallies in support of electoral reform. As you said on the Jim Fannon Show in 2004,
do we need a new election system?
I actually have, for a number of years, the views different than my party. I've actually believed we do. And if I were Prime Minister, I'd like to appoint some kind of a process, committee or commission to look at the options and put those options to Canadians in a referendum. But I have never been a fan of first past the post voting, so I'd like to see that change. My own choice, frankly, would be something like a preferential system where MPs have to have 50% of the vote to be elected. No party would ever choose its candidates or leaders with less than 50% of the vote. I don't know why the voters should.
All fair-minded Canadians will be relieved to hear your words, just as they'll take heart from the essay you co-wrote with Tom Flanagan back in 1996, Our Benign Dictatorship. You make an excellent case for power sharing, alliances and coalitions, and you clearly lay out the reasons why our electoral system must change. I quote, "Voters on the left are as much entitled as voters on the right to effective elected representation. In today's democratic societies, organizations share power. Corporations, churches, universities, hospitals, even public sector bureaucracies make decisions through consultation, committees, and consensus-building techniques. Only in politics do we still entrust power to a single faction expected to prevail every time over the opposition by sheer force of numbers. We persist in structuring the governing team like a military regiment under a single commander with almost total power to appoint, discipline, and expel subordinates. Many of Canada's problems stem from a winner-take-all style of politics that allows governments in Ottawa to impose measures abhorred in large areas of the country. Modernizing Canadian politics might be the key to Canada's survival as a nation." Your words are as true today as they were then. Given the strength of your beliefs, People will ask why you haven't acted sooner. How could you? When your own party weren't all on side and other parties were still angling for their own majority, now, at last, you can act. With the opposition parties stuck in a 60% minority position, backing your reforms is clearly their best option. Other leaders, like Pierre Trudeau, have talked about electoral reform, then done nothing, because this unfair system was working to their short-term advantage. It falls to you to make history by bringing Canadian democracy into the 21st century, by getting some good minds working out our best option, then promoting it in a clear way that will win the support of a true majority of Canadians. Take care, Terry.